Most people rarely pause during their day to reflect on how a single, quiet decision could impact every paycheck they earn going forward. It's not about risky bets or chasing fast wealth through rumors and hype. It's about making one deliberate, steady choice, simple enough to take before a cup of coffee cools, that places money on a path where each dollar gradually recruits more dollars. This is the principle of compounding, much like a small snowball rolling downhill. As it turns, it gathers snow, and then the added layers begin attracting more on their own. That silent, automatic process is how wealth often grows, starting slowly, then accelerating. The power of compounding is what builds fortunes, even for people who never considered themselves wealthy at the beginning. The real question becomes, how big does the initial snowball need to be before gravity starts working in favor of the person who rolled it? Surprisingly, that number is much smaller than most assume, small enough for an average income earner to reach, yet powerful enough to unlock financial momentum that can last a lifetime. Understanding compounding begins with dispelling common myths. It is not exclusive to those with advanced degrees or large inheritances. Instead, compounding is a patient, persistent force. It only asks for time, space, and consistency. Like a snowball being pushed repeatedly, small actions add up. Over time, they begin to flatten obstacles and gain force. Unlike high-maintenance income sources, such as rental properties requiring midnight repairs, cryptocurrencies prone to wild swings, or side hustles that consume weekends and demand relentless self-promotion, compounding operates quietly. Once set in motion, it continues working while its owner rests, learns, or enjoys everyday life. Returning to the idea of how much is needed to see real results from compounding, one can begin by envisioning a goal, perhaps a $1 million net worth. If invested in a broad market index fund that historically yields around 8% annually, reaching that figure in 20 years would require approximately $241,000 as a starting point. However, allowing just 10 more years changes everything. With a 30-year window and the same growth rate, only about $100,000 is needed to reach the same goal. Time, it turns out, is the greatest multiplier. It can cut the required investment nearly in half simply by extending the horizon. Different rates of return produce different starting amounts. At 4% annual growth, around $286,000 would be necessary to reach $1 million in 30 years. At 6%, about $165,000. At 8%, the requirement drops to roughly $100,000. And at 10%, only about $100,000, $57,000 is needed. Each additional percent of return drastically lowers the threshold to build significant wealth. This is one of the key lessons often missed in traditional education. Every increase in growth rate sharply lifts the trajectory and reduces the barrier to entry. Still, return rates are not the most critical factor. What matters more is the discipline to let the investment grow undisturbed. If gains are withdrawn too early, deposits skipped, or funds pulled out during market downturns, the process stalls. For compounding to work, one must keep their hands off the engine once it starts. The reason $100,000 is often cited as a milestone is not because it's a perfect number on a spreadsheet. Real life is unpredictable. Markets fluctuate, emergencies arise, and emotions can cloud judgment. A six-figure sum offers a cushion, even if future returns fall to 6%. It's also an easy target to visualize and celebrate. When invested in a broad index fund at 6%, $100,000 produces $6,000 in the first year alone. In the second year, the original amount and the earnings both generate returns. By year 10, the annual return grows to around $9,000. By year 20, approximately $16,000. Eventually, the investment saves more per year than most people can save manually. At that point, the snowball rolls on its own. Many make the mistake of allowing their gains to sit in idle cash accounts, where inflation silently erodes value. The solution is simple. Reinvest every dollar earned. Reinvestment means putting those dollars back into the same engine, assigning each new dollar the job of earning more. Over time, this habit can double or even triple results without any additional effort, especially when set to occur automatically. Reaching $100,000 is more achievable than it might seem. Saving $850 per month at a 6% return gets there in around 8 years. Saving $500 per month takes roughly 12 years. Even $250 per month reaches the goal in 20 years. It's not instant, but it's also not a lifelong wait. Another common misconception is that achieving these returns requires expert-level stock picking. In reality, one low-cost index fund tracking the broader market has delivered those kinds of results for decades. While some prefer active investing or real estate ventures, most people can build wealth consistently with automated monthly investments into a broad fund. The key is consistency, not complexity. There's also no need to check the investment account daily. In fact, frequent monitoring can do more harm than good. Each dip can trigger anxiety, leading to poor decisions. A monthly or quarterly review is more than enough to stay informed without reacting emotionally. To illustrate compounding's effect visually, one might picture planting a seed in the soil. For weeks, it appears as nothing more than a fragile sprout. It might even be mocked for its slow growth. Yet after a decade, that sprout has become a tall tree with strong roots and wide branches. The transformation was quiet, steady, and constant. That is exactly how compounding works. After examining real-world numbers, historical returns, and the stories of everyday earners within supportive communities, one clear conclusion emerges. The true threshold, the point where compounding begins working hard enough to make a difference, is $100,000. This figure is large enough to deliver motivation, yet small enough for most people to achieve with a clear plan. Reaching it requires 3 core steps. First, automate savings so that money is transferred into investments the moment it enters a checking account. Second, raise income by using existing skills, such as tutoring, freelancing, or repair work, and send every extra dollar to the investment account. Third, eliminate wasteful expenses, such as unused subscriptions or impulse purchases, and redirect those funds toward the compounding engine. Stacking these 3 habits turns the 6-figure milestone from a dream into a deadline. Compounding is not magic. It is math powered by patience. Starting early reduces how much is needed. Starting late increases the demand. But the finish line remains in reach. No inheritance, elite education, or perfect market timing is necessary. All that is needed is the first $100,000 snowball, the resolve to leave it untouched, and the patience to let time do the rest. Thanks for watching InvestingFlix, where smart money learns smarter moves. Subscribe for more insights that grow your wealth.